Yo, what's going on everybody? Chadley here, and in today's Borderlands video, we're going to be looking at all of the different buffs for different weapons that were in today's hotfix, also including the newly added Rhona. This is a gun that's been technically in the game for a very long time, but there's been no way to obtain it. But now we can finally get our hands on the weapon, so we're also going to be reviewing that as well. So for today's test, we're going to be using our frosted flak and then running true Maliwan takedown. It's just a good middle ground, and then obviously if something does splash, you can use it really well on moze, guaranteed. Also, any of these, if you want to use them on Zane with purple tree, you're going to be more than fine. You can make any gun work with that. But I thought this was just a nice solid middle ground. So we're going to be just kicking this off with the Webslinger. We're just going to be going in the order in which I listed the guns at the start of the video. Also, if you guys are watching this as it goes live, we're going to be live on Twitch testing out all these different weapons. And also we're going to be updating and seeing how some of our really old builds are holding up in today's state of Borderlands 3. So we're just going to be messing around, having some fun with that. Hopefully I'll see you guys over there. But let's go ahead and jump right into the Webslinger. So we're just going to start off with the main rifle portion of this gun, and we're just going to see how it performs here. Now, that just instantly killed everything because of some rad explosions, hollow point, all that good stuff. But otherwise, this gun seems to be doing okay on the ratch. I know they're really not that tough to begin with, but let's go ahead and test it on some of these war dogs. And it's actually doing an okay job. Not too crazy. I don't know how great this thing's going to be in like true Guardian takedown, but here in true Maliwan takedown, it's definitely a viable option with R.Y.N.A.H at least. Now, unfortunately, with this gun, if you guys are going to use like the grenade launcher side of it, it is broken right now. After you shoot, you're just not going to be able to shoot, which is a little weird. I can even swap and come back, and it still will not let me shoot to the launcher side of it. So that's a little bit weird and just something to take note of. I'm sure they are aware of this issue, and they will be fixing it shortly. But just keep that in mind when you guys are using this weapon. Overall, Webslinger, definitely a much-needed buff, considering it's a Guardian takedown weapon. Definitely like to see that this thing can actually kill in an okay amount of time. Not the craziest weapon we've ever seen, but definitely good, and it's not power crept, which I'm perfectly happy with. Now, moving down the list, we're gonna be looking at the Devoured here. I have a cryo and corrosive version. This is a binary, also with URAD, so we're just gonna be going with that for the time being. And for the most part, this gun seems to be doing okay. Not the craziest SMG, it's not a plasma coil, but this thing is just decently strong nonetheless. That's something I've noticed so far with today's buffs, has been things are just good. They're not insane, they're not crazy power crept. They're just feeling good. I would imagine very early on in playthroughs, these guns are going to be very, very helpful. So just keep that in mind if you guys are running any sort of new playthroughs. Overall, I'm very happy with the state of these buffs for today. Now, next up on our list is going to be the Rosenstorn, also, once again, URAD. And the weird thing with this gun, as opposed to most Torg guns, is that you're actually going to be running this in impact mode. If you put this into sticky mode, you're not really going to be doing that much. Right here is sticky mode. I'll even reload. Doesn't really do much. But if we swap back to impact and then we just get going here, this thing actually destroys. I think this is my favorite weapon that was buffed today. This thing is a ton of fun. It's definitely feeling pretty darn close to like the prompt critical and the craps. So that's definitely really cool to see a base game item be pretty close to those two, because those are actually very strong options. Now, obviously, if you put this on moze, you're going to get pretty darn crazy because it will be doing splash damage for you. So definitely give that a try on moze. Now, onto the Magnificent here. I just have a normal damage. I also do not have like the double gun version. We just have one with zip rockets. So we're not really going to be using the rockets because I don't really enjoy those too much. We're just going to be sticking with the standard Magnificent. So you could probably get better options than this specific one that I'm using. But this thing is actually okay. Now, this thing before on Zane obviously could kind of go nuts. It was just a crazy high fire rate weapon. But this thing now can actually be sort of used on any character. This is definitely going to be more of an early game type weapon. But for right now, it can definitely do okay, which I'm not opposed to. The main complaint I have about this weapon is just its crazy reload time. And then if you have DLC 3, there's no reason to use this over a light show. But if you guys just have the base game and you're running through just a playthrough, this is definitely going to be a solid option for you. All right, time to take a look at the Mother 2 here. Now, this weapon has always just struggled because of its drone. Its drone has always been very bad at targeting. It moves too slow, so it never really actually gets to output its full damage on an enemy unless they are just straight up not moving, and even then it still kind of wobbles around an enemy. So if we could get an enemy that my racks don't kill, we can see right here, you can see it's struggling to actually hit the enemy, but once it does okay, and the gun itself does all right as well. But for the most part, I'm probably going to be sticking away from this weapon. Definitely not my favorite by any means. But if you want to give this a try, definitely go for it. I'm just not going to straight up recommend it. Now on to our next weapon. We're going to be looking at the smart gun. This thing is Corrosive Locks, so we're just going to be running that. And something I've found interesting out of 3 of these last 4 that we're testing is there are 3 TDRs. So if you guys remember a little bit ago, TDRs actually got nerfed basically because of arms race, which definitely impacted them in the main game. So it's interesting to see that they are willing to buff some of these TDRs. Now, they definitely don't feel quite like they used to, but it's nice to see that they are keeping that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and test out this weapon here. We're going to use it on these war dogs, and it actually is getting a kill, which is nice to see because this has honestly been usually one of the worst TDRs in my opinion. I have never really liked this gun, but it's cool to see that it's actually getting a kill over here. Now, if you do miss the throw, it's just going to be like this walking brain that will eventually run and explode on an enemy. But usually if you hit the enemy, you can get a kill. We did a couple million damage there, which is not too bad considering how bad this gun used to be. So it's cool to see that this gun did get some love. We hit a 13 mil right there on that war dog that was jumping up to us. So definitely not the worst damage, but I still don't know if I'm going to be using this gun super often. Now on to the final TDR that got buffed today. We're going to be looking at a 10 gallon. I just have a normal damage one right here, and we're going to see exactly what kind of damage this thing can put out. I'm definitely going to be focusing on the drone aspect of it. So if we go ahead and just throw that, we're going to just let that do its work here. And we're going to see this guy definitely did okay. Did a couple 100,000 damage, which isn't too great, but it's not too bad. The thing definitely just has some targeting issues. It usually misses a lot of its shots, which is kind of annoying. But when it does hit, it can get some enemies pretty weak and finish them off as well. On this Corrosive Heavy right here, this is basically just the 10 gallon doing that. One solo 10 gallon, and obviously my pet was attacking him. But we're not really expecting the pets. So 10 gallon, okay, not my favorite once again. Now on to the final weapon of today, the brand new one, the Rhona. So right now this thing unfortunately cannot come anointed. This is an issue they are aware of and will be fixing shortly. So right now you guys will not be getting that. You're just gonna get this from loot enemies. I'm sure there's tons of videos out already about this thing and how to obtain it, so definitely go check those out. But this gun is actually okay considering it's not anointed right now. As we can see, its base damage is 94,291 times 2, which is actually pretty wild. This is basically the legendary version of the lump, which is actually one of the better purple launchers out there, at least it used to be. So it's cool to see that this thing is now in the game. Now the biggest downside of this gun is definitely going to be the charge time. If you have charge time passives on any of your gear, it's definitely gonna help out a ton. It's a couple seconds worth, but basically you're gonna shoot those up and it's going to target nearby enemies. It's gonna shoot those little lines at them, and once it reaches the end, it's going to shoot a projectile at them. Actually does fairly decent damage, but at this state of the game, we need anointments on weapons, whether you like it or not. If you want to be able to perform super well on Mayhem 10, 11, you're going to need anointments on your guns. So it's really tough to see that this thing is bugged right now. So I'm really looking forward to its fix. And also, if you guys are going to be running this weapon, it consumes 8 ammo per shot, which is super hefty. And you guys are going to need to be running like a cut purse or some way of getting ammo back, or else you are going to be out of ammo so quick. So definitely be running like gravity snare if you guys want to get ammo on flak. Zane, you can do cut purse. Actually, any character you can do cut purse, but you can also do clone and all sorts of stuff. There's tons of ways to get ammo out there, but you're just going to need to be running something for it. Yeah, overall, the Rhona, I think it's going to be a great weapon once it's anointed. I think it will definitely be able to compete with like Backburner and Plaguebearer, depending on the situation. The only issue is this thing is radiation locked, so you're not really going to be using this for armored targets too much, I don't think. Yeah, guys, that's all of the buffs and the new weapon that we received in today's hotfix. So hopefully you guys enjoy these. If you want to run any of these on any character, I definitely recommend it. Obviously, any gun you can use on Zane with Purple Tree, and then if something does splash, you can definitely use it on Moze and have really, really good results. So if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up on it to let me know. It really helps me out. Also consider subscribing. Now, like I said at the start of the video, we are going to be streaming when this video goes live, so hopefully I'll see you guys over on Twitch. But I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya!